Hello everyone and welcome, I'm Michael B. I hope you are doing great today. If you're new to this channel, please consider to subscribe and or leave a comment. And while we're at it, smash that like button and the notification bell too. I will surely bring you more videos on simulation, survival and strategy games every week. If you've been here before, welcome back! Hello fellow farmers, welcome back to PV County. Welcome back to a little different episode this time around, where today we're gonna summarize all the previous episodes and we're gonna try to get a little bit better understanding of how we've gotten so far. Now, what I'm doing down here, where am I? Well, possibly you can see it in the minimap, just in the lower right corner, and oh, that's a stone I forgot. Let's put it over here. We have been working our butts off, let me tell you that. And now I just want to finalize this down here. We need one more stick of dynamite. I don't think I've placed one yet. No, I have not. So this should be the final one. Should be a little neat surprise behind. Let's just see what lurks in here, shall we? Moving forward, nice and easy. And what do we have here? What is this? What is this Martian landscape? It's the bauxite mine. It's the bauxite mine. We finally made it. Looks freaking cool. And just in this way, there is some lovely copper. Yes. We finally made it. We finally made it to the bauxite and the copper mines. That took a sweet time. But all about more in the next episode after this episode. So I'm gonna leave you a little cliffhanger. And let's get down to where it all began. So once you throw yourself over this beautiful, magnificent map, the PV County, then there will be 12 scenarios for you to choose from. And I chose the one where we got a little deep dive into the forest to begin with. I thought that was appropriate for my gameplay, but of course you can choose any other, what you like. But this is the way I chosen to play this series. Now we started out with planting down the sawmill, the six extension sawmill, and on each output with boards from the sawmill I placed down the factories, the forestry factories. So right below me we have the barrels, we have the pellets, we have the planks, and then we got some chipboards and we got some paper, and over here we got even more planks. So that was the start out, and just started shoving in a lot of logs, and we're gonna produce resin and all the good stuff, just going fill it up, and then from there on we shove it all into a cognate forestry storage, and we're gonna build up our process from there. Now that's gonna be a quick start, and what you want to do is you want to have a supply of coal, so you're gonna find a coal mine because a sawmill needs coal. And once you got that going and you're starting to stockpile all your stuff, then you're ready to move on. First you need to put down the shell factory so you can produce a lot of diesel, and that requires some input in form of some crops. I prefer to use silage because that gives the highest production rate, and for that I've got myself a fermenter silo where we're gonna put a lot of grass or chaff or even straw. I think it takes. Yes. The silo takes grass, wood chips that we're gonna produce from the sawmill. It takes chaff, it takes straw, and it takes hay. So it makes sense that once you're stockpiling all your wood chips as well from the sawmill, then you can start producing a lot of silage, and then we can move on to the stone crusher, get some stones, and from the stone we are gonna have some lovely lime, gypsum, calcium carbonate, and also limestone, which we're gonna use in the further production of glue and epoxy. And because I ran out of room, then we have the gypsum, national gypsum, where we can produce drywalls right on across the river. And then we have the steel factory down here, and then we have the concrete factory. Now at this point in time, you want to mine a lot of coal to get a lot of money, because you have to own the land where you place down your factories, and the factories, they're not cheap. They cost a pretty penny. So what you can do is get yourself, and it's just over here, just ignore the other buildings, you can get the gold master from a lot of water, and then you can pour in sand as one of the ingredients, and then you're gonna have some clean fill you can sell, and you're also gonna get some gold. Now there is a mine, a sand mine, just over here that you have pretty easy access to. Don't have to build any bridges, just follow this path along, at least where I've been building my things, just there. That's a lot of sand right here, and you can sell that as well. Just remember, you have to own the land. Right, so that'll get you going with the coal, that'll get you going with the sand. Pretty awesome. Now once we get the forestry production up and running, and we start filling up the forestry storages, and we also have a lot of gypsum, we have steel running, we have the dry boards running, and we also got some concrete production, then it's time to build our first storage. Now this one. It's the blue one. The construction storage. Now I chose to build all of the storages at once, but you don't really need to do that, because I'm not in the, well, I'm the late game now, I would say, and I haven't even filled up any of these storages yet. Well, maybe the one where we're gonna have some fruits and vegetables, I'll fill that up because I built the orchards and the greenhouses, but you don't really have to do this. I just like to have it placed down at the same location, so I know that this is here on the map, all my storages are. So of course you need to expand your mining activities. As I said, we already had the coal going, we had the sand going. You also need to find yourself a gravel mining, and the limestone, we got that from the stone crusher. So a gravel mine, well, there are a lot of gravel mines around here, so that'll be the same as for the coal and the sand. Find just one that's next to a road. You also need to get some ore for getting the steel up and running, and the ore, same story. A lot of ore mines around down here that you can get easy access to. So these are the orchards, and just over on the other side we have conveniently greenhouses. There are 10 different kinds of orchards and 10 different kinds of greenhouses. So you don't have to put all of them down, but a lot of the production line takes different kinds of fruits and vegetables, and it's a pretty good penny that you can sell at the farmer's market. At this point you don't have to build your greenhouses and your orchards, but I just choose to do so because in between I just let the factories work for me, producing a lot of resources and filling up my storage, so it was ready to move on to the next stage. The next stage is to build some bridges, blowing up some buildings. Once you want to build your bridges, you need to get access to your government building, and let's take a look at that. The government building is a pretty cool place where you can get an overview, and if you take a look at this, so the red dots are where the bridges that has not been built, and the green dots are where bridges have been built. So you can see I have been building a lot of bridges, but I'm still not there. I'm still 6 short. Now the red one there in the middle, don't really have to build that unless you really want to. But on the top, that would be really nice to have these 5 builds, because then you can drive around the whole map and you don't have to go this way and then you can't get further, and you have to drive all the way around to get access to some factories that produces something that you need for another production line, right? And you're also gonna get some cool rewards for the buildings that you're gonna complete on the map. There's a lot of them, and I still need 3 buildings to complete, so I guess There's room for one there. And there'll also be room for, I don't know, 2 more here. And maybe in the future, there's even room for further. You won't know. But you have to own the government building to be able to build the bridges. And also the land they are on. So this was my first bridge I built. And this gave me access to what I choose to call the Animal Island, just over here. And why the Animal Island? Well, because I have collected all the animals down here. They're in the same spot. It's pretty convenient. And most of the animals, as you know, take straw and takes water, of course, and hay and stuff like that. And you can just fill up your tipper trailer and just go from one end on and just continue. Oh, what a mess those pigs have been making down there. Holy moly. Right. No, that's not the pigs, that's the cows. Shui. I've chosen to put up all the animals down here, including some silos that's going to produce TMR and pig food, also some fermenting silo, it's going to produce silage, and I should also have a hay dryer just down there, then a farm silo where we can put all our things in. There's the fisheries, and furthermore, more storages for things that I'm producing down here. We got a lot of caviar from the fishes, we got eggs, and even the farm silo where we can store the cashmere wool from the goat and the wool from the sheeps, and also the down from the ducks that we're going to produce in another production line. Right. And down here there were some buildings. That was the wolfies that we built, and there's also this one, the Samuel Adams. Yes, we have been blowing a lot of buildings up, and here I built my second construction storage. And why is that? Well, that is because I don't want to drive around the whole day for stuff that we need, so I just collected a lot of materials down here, filled it all up to the max, and then also storage for wood, planks and pellets, because it's very convenient to have it in the same place. As time went on, I actually went back. I went back to the original storage facilities because I wanted to move on with the miscellaneous factories, as I call them. And what's the miscellaneous factories? Well, these are the factories that have been placed just next to all the greenhouses over here. Right down there. We got the composter with the red silo there. We got a herbicide maker. We got a seed maker. And we got a fertilizer maker. Because all that good stuff is needed to put into the greenhouses and the orchards. It's not necessary to put lime and herbicide into them, but it gives a better production. Now, I had a little hard time with getting the fertilizer up and running, so I used a global company silo that is producing fertilizer for us with the use of silage, manure, slurry, digestate and straw. Pretty awesome, because we're producing a lot of silage in connection with all the diesel that we are making. So that's pretty awesome. Next bridge, this one. Went over to what I call the grain island, and the grain island that consists of putting some grass down, a lot of wheat, lavender, because why not, it's pretty to look at. And over here we just made the Frito-Lays and the Heartland as the two next factories we built. And again, construction factory, construction storage, and a forestry storage. Two little sheds for our vehicles and our harvesters. And then comes the fun part. Then I realized, well, we have a flower plant over here, a flower factory. And you won't get your factories going anywhere or working with anything unless you have some power. And here comes the power plant. We got 4 different kinds of power plants. So right down here where we are, there's a little lightning here. We got the Southern Company. Moving up on the west coast, we got our Duke Energy. On top north, we got the PSEG. And on the far east, we got the... Where is it? Where are you? There, American Electric. These are the 4 power plants, so to speak, that's going to provide electricity to the whole island. So you want to buy some kind of energy module. This is for diesel. You can also have one for wood chips, and you can also have one for coal. And wood chips is 20,000. That one for coal is 250,000, and this one for diesel is 500,000. Yep, that is pretty expensive. So all about now, quite many mines have been vacuum cleaned and have been sold off. And then I realized, well, if they are going to use diesel, and we got, what are we having here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8 modules, and it's also the same on the 3 others power plants, then we're going to have a use for a lot of diesel. So I just plunked down yet another diesel factory, some more fermenting silos, and this is running on silage alone. But it's keeping up very, very lovely. So the building's got power. How awesome is that? This one over here is the refinery. Now, I haven't started that up yet because it needs crude oil. And crude oil, that's a whole nother different story that we're gonna come back to in a little while. I tried to build this bridge, but the building trigger were on the other side. So we had to go this way around, building the bridge, taking advantage of the spinnery here, sold some wool, sold some cashmere, and then we built this bridge going on the other side, and then we're taking on the east coast. Yet another construction storage and yet another forestry storage. We built the Pepsi and we built the Heinz. In this area we also have a whiskey distillery, a whiskey factory, and over here we got a lot of wax and a lot of honey being made from all our lovely bees. Then I wanted to prepare for future coming updates. We got some cool stones. I am not really sure if they are a thing yet, but you can blow these up and you can get some gold and some silver from them that you're going to use in a future production line. But what is working is this here, the desert. What is out here in the desert? Well, there's a lot of sand, and if you zoom in, you will also have some crude oil patches here and there. See if we can find one. Should be a few around. There is one. And these requires oil pumps. Oil pumps you have to produce in a future production line. We're gonna come back to that a little bit later. So I just vacuum cleaned a lot of this desert. I tried to make some roads to make it obvious when I'm gonna come back. Where are those patches? Because they can be quite hard to find. Then I moved further up the line. Just up here. I tried to wrap my head around this Alcoa, and that takes bauxite, it takes copper, which we've just gotten access to, as I showed you in the very beginning of this episode. And then it needs water, and it needs crude oil. Now crude oil we still don't have. And it needs coal as well for I don't know, some of the refinery products. Anyways, this has to be a little bit on hold because we don't have the materials yet. We don't have the crude oil. So I went on to build the Cargill, and that is making animal food for all our lovely animals. Filled out the Duke Energy, also with modules, filled them up with diesel so all the factories can run with power once they are ready. Built yet another construction storage, yet another forestry storage, a little farm silo here on the back, because it can hold some of the animal food that we're gonna produce over in the Cargill. And then we got the peanut factory, and yet another shell, because we need diesel for the power plant. As I said, we needed to get this Alcoa going. That means we need some copper and we need some bauxite. Well, I built this bridge, and then I went a little bit back, placed down the farmer market with some lovely products that we got from our orchards and our greenhouses. They sell for a very, very good profit. So if you're short of money, plunk this bad boy down and then just haul in a lot of stuff. Then I've chosen to build a bridge just over here on the other side of the mountain, because I thought that was the most convenient way to get into the bauxite and the copper production. It had some challenges with getting over here, and you should remember this bridge needs to be built as well, and it's going downhill, so don't drive too fast. I took a nosedive with a truck with 4 containers just over the edge. No way of stopping, so that'll teach me. Right, moving on here. Follow this road, and down here I got a little confused because that was all brand new. See where to go from here. Well, you got 2 directions you can go. Now we got a copper mine and we got a bauxite mine up here, and the only access to those 2 is through here, which is, I guess, is some other scenarios. If you're gonna start on the map, you can see the mine shaft right there. You need to start blowing your way through there. But this part here is accessible through this road system around here, and we came from here, so you can go in here and you can drive around. And there's a bridge to be built. There's even 2 bridges to be built if you choose to go all the way up the west coast and all the way around here. You have to build 2 more bridges. So what I realized is I came down here, and then I thought, well, there is a bauxite mine and a copper mine just over there. Maybe we can get access to that a little more easy. And sure enough, right there, that's where we started this episode. So after 27 blasts, we made our way through to the bauxite mine. And I think there is only 12 or 15, then we have access to the copper. Easy peasy, no problems. So that's pretty awesome. Well, right down here, then we have yet another power plant. I have prepared that as well. Just finishing up putting diesel into it. And I have constructed the Campbell's, yet another construction facility, construction storage, and yet another forest storage. A lot of quarry silos from what we are blowing up the stuff. You see there's a lot of stones there, and yeah, there's a reason why all the stones were lying down at the shop, because that's where things spawn if they get underground and they get some kind of lost. You can see there's still some stones stuck in the ground, and I'm not really sure why it does that, but yeah, that happens from time to time. I still also have some blown up buildings that I needed to clean up after. I've chosen to put down a sawmill here, producing local boards, because that was one of the requirements to build the buildings. And right in here, in this little innocent building, is where all the final magic is gonna happen. That is where we're gonna produce our oil pumps. We can take a look at those requirements for the pumps, because that is what we need to produce to get some crude oil. And it got power, as you can see, but we need some plates, we need some wires, we need some parts, we need some steel, we need some motors. So that should not be any issues whatsoever. But we're not quite there yet. We are not quite there yet. Over here is another factory under construction. But that requires glass, copper, and aluminium. And glass, where do we get glass from? Well, there's a place I haven't showed you yet, because, well, different kind of reasons. We're not quite there yet. We're coming there. Glass is made over here at the Corning Glass, so we're gonna come back to that in just a few seconds. Down here we got Lydia's garden shop. Haven't gotten there yet. And we also have this factory down here, which is pretty important. This is the meat company. It's gonna provide you with all kind of different kind of meats. And then we almost got full circle of most of the production lines. Not quite there yet. Not quite there yet. But soon. And we're closing in on our final journey. Down here we got the Kellogg's. And we got yet another construction storage. And we got a forestry storage. We got the Aurora textile. I built another sawmill here for local production of boards. Here we got the glass, producing the Corning. And here we're gonna get our glass for the building just up there, right? And we also got the Kents built. The final factory has been playing around with. Just gonna take a little whiz over here to the fourth and the last power plant, the American Electric Power. It's also up and running with 8 modules. And next to it we have the Domino's sugar. And thankfully we can load sugar in bulk. So we can use it on pallets, but we can also use it in bulk. And that's very convenient because this is a heck of a long way from everything. And a lot of factories are dependent on sugar. So that's pretty awesome. Just down there we have the racetrack and the airport. Not something I've been looking into yet, but I might. So, down at where we started, it's pretty awesome. And well, we're gonna blast our way through here so we can get some lovely copper and get all this lovely stuff transported back to the Alcoa, so we can start that production. All that's left is to say thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. And you're just unbehaving, are you not? Yes, you are. See there? I can't leave it. I can just turn my back to it 2 seconds and the stones are all over the place. It's really, really weird. Yeah. So, maybe I should get the Volvo up here again. Well, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. And until next time, then please take care, stay safe, and be cool. Oops. Bye.